Teresa and I are so thrilled to be able to report to our supporting churches of the Lord's blessings in our ministry in the obedience of the Great Commission in Spain. Our church planting ministry in Spain began with the Leganés Baptist Church located in the city of Leganés. It is still the only Baptist church established in this 500-year-old city. After 10 years of ups and downs in the ministry, we were finally able to organize the church in June of 2001. 10 years later, the average Sunday morning attendance was running over 120. A national pastor who surrendered to the ministry under our ministry in Leganés, Harry Garris, was trained in our Bible college and ordained by our church. So in September 2011, Teresa and I resigned the church and turned it over to the will of the church, who unanimously elected Harry as the new pastor. Harry has done a great job carrying the church forward the last 6 years, in spite of many problems in the ministry. The church continues to have a large attendance. Souls continue to be saved and baptized and added to the church. Truly, we are so very grateful to the Lord for His continued blessings on this, the first church He has allowed us to establish. The Leganés Baptist Church sponsored the new mission in Palencia, which was the second work that, by the grace of God, Teresa and I have been able to start. When we returned to Spain from Furlough in July 2012, our goal was to return to the city of Palencia, and working together with a young couple from our church in Leganés, Valentin and Laura Lucaci, we would start a new Baptist church. We set an ambitious goal of 5 years in which to start the work, organize it, and at least begin the process of turning it over to a national pastor. We are so pleased to announce that the Lord has seen fit to abundantly fulfill that goal. We would like to now tell you how the Lord has greatly blessed in that endeavor. For those of you who are not aware of our past situation, it would be convenient to give a brief review of the blessings of the Lord here in Palencia these last few years. The Lord moved us here to Palencia 5 years ago to begin the first Baptist church in the history of this 800-year-old city. We began holding Bible studies in our living room 4.5 years ago, and then with more folks attending, quickly moved to Sunday services. Within a few months, we'd outgrown our living room, so we found a small bank building to rent. We had to fix it up as it was in disrepair, but within a short period of time, we began holding services. For 2.5 years, this small building was sufficient for our small church, but we soon began to realize it was too small for our burgeoning congregation. The church was organized in September of 2015. So we began looking for another larger building we could afford, and although it took over a year, we finally found a larger storefront building nearer to the center of town. The 2,100 square foot building had been a small grocery store and warehouse. The owner was asking a rent amount for more than we could afford, but after a little bit of back and forth, he drastically lowered the rent and even gave us a 10-year contract with 6 months free rent in order to do the renovations. So in February, we began renovations. We are blessed with 2 building contractors in our church, Alexander and Anatoly, who volunteered to work in whatever free time they had after their own job in the evenings and on Saturday afternoons. I worked alongside of them as well as most everyone else in the church in some form or the other. So we began raising walls, sheetrocking, plastering, installing new lights, insulating the walls, false ceilings, sanding, painting, installing doors, new floors, renovating the old bathroom, and laying down tiles to build 2 new bathrooms. Practically everyone in the church helped, even children and teens. Working together brought our church folks even closer together. We were thrilled to work with the vision that this building would be instrumental in bringing more lost to Christ and to strengthen the brethren in the Word. We sincerely enjoyed working together, but we were a motley-looking crew. Now let me give you a tour of the almost finished work. But I want to go ahead and give you a short tour of our building out. So please come on in. This is our entranceway here. And we're just not even finished with the building yet, but we're able to be in the building now. We've been in now for 4 Sundays, and this is our 5th Sunday actually. This is our nursery here. We've still got a lot to do. The walls are still bare, but it's coming along. And we have anywhere from 5 to 6 children in here on Sunday mornings. Now this is the hallway. We have here a small nook for a classroom that we have not built the classroom yet, but this is a small nook for the classroom. This whole area here we're using for our fellowships. In fact, last Sunday we had a fellowship. You may see a picture of that as well. We're coming back here now. This is an office area here that we're still using as a storage room. This over here is a classroom. It's actually a multi-purpose room, but it is a classroom that we're using. This is our auditorium, and we can fit comfortably in here 50 to 70 people. Right now we just have chairs for about 35 is all we have, but we are going to be able to expand and be able to use this more in the future. Here is our kitchen nook. Just have tables set up, but we will be building cabinets in here, putting a sink in. And over here now, I think you can come in now and see our restroom. This is our ladies' restroom, and it is also for handicap. So that's a very quick tour of our building. A lot more room now, and this would not have been possible without your offerings and your prayers. And we want to thank you so much for that. As you can see, we have 4 folks coming in right now because we need to get started on our Sunday morning service. So thank you so much for your help, and thank you so much for giving us offerings and for having a vision to help us get here and get installed in this building. May the Lord bless you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Alejandro Mendez. I'm from Ecuador. I'm a member here in this Faith Baptist Church, and I want to say thank you for your offering for the new building. Thank you, and God bless you.
Buenas tardes, hermanos. Mi nombre es Héctor Méndez. Soy miembro de la Iglesia Fe de Palencia y mi esposa Isabel Puyol. Queremos darles gracias por vuestras ofrendas y que nos habéis animado a nosotros.
Gracias por todo y bendiciones. Thank you very much.
Hola, somos la familia Guerra Morales. Mi nombre es Juan, mi esposa Pilar. Somos peruanos que de todo corazón, de parte de mi familia, de mi esposa y yo, pues, 1, 2 y 3. Thank you very much.
Soy David y esta es mi mujer Ivette. Somos miembros aquí de Iglesia en Palencia y somos españoles y queremos agradeceros todo lo que nos habéis ayudado económicamente y en oración para construir la iglesia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hola, me llamo Alex y es mi esposa Ludmila. Quiero dar muchas gracias por vuestro apoyo a esa iglesia y por esa obra que tenemos ya hecha. Gracias a vosotros. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hola hermanos, somos de Moldavia, me llamo Anatoly, es Ekaterina, es mi hija Ariana, hay otra Valeria por ahí, también es mi hija. Y queremos dar gracias a las iglesias en los Estados Unidos, a las iglesias americanas, por las ofrendas que hemos podido construir este edificio para honra y la gloria de Dios. Thank you very much.
So there you have it, folks. Thanks to your sacrifice and your more than generous offerings, the Faith Baptist Church of Palencia now has a building in which to grow, to preach the gospel to the lost, and teach the Word of God to adults, to our young people, and even to the smallest of our children. The church in Palencia is so blessed to have 18 children and teens in our church, and are thankful we now have plenty of space to properly minister to them. We continue to see souls saved and baptized, including adults, but also among young people in our church, as evidenced this past August with the salvation and then subsequent baptism of 2 teenagers, Timothy and Valeria, in a river close to our church. So now you have seen the Lord's blessings upon the Faith Baptist Church of Palencia. Surely you can see how He has honored our goal of these past 5 years of starting and organizing a New Testament Baptist church in this city of 80,000 souls. But I have one more rich blessing of the Lord to share with you all. For 6 years we have been training, preparing, and praying for Valentin and Laura Lucacci and family to come join us in the work. 8 years ago, Valentin surrendered to the ministry under our ministry in Leganés, Madrid. June of 2016, he graduated from our Bible Institute. Last May, he was ordained in our church in Leganés, and in June, he and his family moved up here to Palencia to begin working with us as the associate pastor of the church. He will be the interim pastor as we go back to the States on furlough this month of August through March of next year. And when we return in March, Lord willing, we will begin the transition of the pastorate to Valentine. This great blessing of the Lord shows you even more why your support and special offerings of your missionaries are so important. Once again, thank you for your faithful support and for your special offerings. May the Lord richly bless you all for your faithfulness in the obedience of the Great Commission.